Hi, I'm Ursula, Luna Dakini, and I wanted to talk about the astrology of August 2024. So obviously it's we had a very dramatic month um, last month, July of 2024. It brought us a meeting of Mars, Uranus, and the infamous fixed star Algol. They were right on Trump's midheaven. So if we actually take a look at the chart for that, um, they happen to be right on Trump's midheaven. So this is where Mars, Uranus, and Algol is right here, and they were right close to Trump's midheaven. So a place of visibility of, this is uh, any astrologer would have advised not to be out in the open on that day or any day near that. And so obviously it was uh, intense and unfortunate situation. So it's going to be intense. Mid August is also going to be intense, but not quite as intense as what we saw last month. Thank goodness. Now, however, we still have events happening. So again, the meeting of Mars, Uranus, and Algol, they showed up as in the news as rapid dramatic events that we have barely had time to fully process at this point. And we are indeed living in historic times. And that's why the upcoming Mercury retrograde and Jupiter-Saturn square this upcoming August will actually bring a welcome slowdown and opportunity to process these events. The middle of August will still be busy, but it's mainly because of all this confusion and misunderstandings and intensifying existing relationship complications. The end of the month looks much easier. But if we take a look at the beginning of the month, August 4th, August actually begins with a joyful, positive, confident new moon in Leo on August 4th. And so Leo symbolizes our life purpose, creativity, self-esteem, present, and physically and spiritually, it governs the heart and how we want to present ourselves out there. Leo always encourages us to be proud of ourselves and the things we create. So this is a good, optimistic new moon and a very good time to reflect on our self-esteem and what genuinely is meaningful and heartwarmingly in our lives, or the way we live, what makes us happy. And are we living by those standards, or are we living by other people's standards? So, but the next day on August 5th, Mercury starts retrograding until August 28th. This indicates that things, events, people, and ideas we thought we already had moved past will somehow return to our lives. Or things we thought we had already initiated will come to a halt or not proceed as expected. We can expect technical problems or communication mix-ups. Now, sometimes I have seen that For example, contracts or technical issues that you've been waiting on for months, that haven't worked well, or you've been waiting on, they may actually start working on Mercury retrograde, because Mercury retrograde tends to just turn things upside down. So it just, whatever has been happening reverses itself. So Mercury retrograde affects most strongly on the days it starts and ends its retrograde. So especially on August 3rd through 6th and the 28th until the 30th, it's not advisable to sign contracts or, for example, switch internet service providers, things like that, because communication mix-ups and misunderstandings are almost guaranteed. Preferably, I would probably wait until the last week of August. Now, mid-August brings a dramatic turn of events again. Mid-August definitely will not leave anyone cold. It should not be as dramatic as mid-July, hopefully. Many things will go still haywire due to misunderstandings and technical problems, and the news and social media will be, we will be seeing lots of news again mid-month, and many will experience situations where they will feel compelled to act one way or another, because the reason for this is that Mars meets with Jupiter, which initially indicates a very confident situation. So Mars is the god of war, and it meets the god of optimism. So we're going to want to act and do it kind of impulsively. And victory seems initially very justified, entirely certain. The urge to go into battle is almost irresistible. Mars symbolizes energy, action, and even weapons and war. And Jupiter, in turn, symbolizes justice and balance. However, balance is hard to find when these planets meet. But Mars and Jupiter square on August 16th and 19th. So Saturn almost completely slows down or prevents this aggressive victory march of Mars and Jupiter. So quick, aggressive reactions to situation will not yield the desired result in mid-August. Saturn always questions our motives and ways of doing things. So at this point, only cool heads and strategic planning and patience will help us. And soon after, we will arrive at full moon. The full moon is in Aquarius this month on August 19th. Full moon always in a chart appears when you see the dot, which represents the sun and the moon here, and when they are opposite each other. It only, but this full moon only reinforces these dramatic scenarios, especially because we also have this Venus is opposite to Saturn. So existing relationship problems will only intensify under possible unexpected events, and there's going to be even more pressure. But the best advice for August is try not to react at all, or to react as slowly and strategically as possible. in mid-month and act only in the last week of the month when things become clearer and calmer. Now, societal planets, so-called societal planets, Saturn and Jupiter, last met in December 2020. They started a completely new 20-year cycle. That meeting was like a new moon, and now in mid-August, we're arriving at the first quarter of that new moon between these societal planets. So, Saturn symbolizes pessimism, and Jupiter symbolizes positivity, in a very simplified way. And they have now started to have this intense discussion about hope and fear. A lot is at stake here on a societal level, and in personal lives, we will experience this as dramatic swings between hope and fear, optimism and pessimism. It's good to be aware that almost all of us will be in the midst of extreme emotional fluctuations between positivity and pessimism, especially mid-August. Additionally, it is good to be aware that as Saturn approaches Neptune, this is Neptune here, they will actually meet next year. But as Saturn gets closer to Neptune, it will become increasingly difficult for us to distinguish truth from falsehood and reality from unreality. Talk about virtual reality and so forth. And it is always important to be mindful of the source and motivation where we get our information, without getting caught up in all kinds of conspiracy theories. Sometimes things actually are exactly as we see them. However, it is clear that there are many entities and groups with different motivation that benefit from people's fears and chaos. Large news agencies, of course, need advertising revenue. And on the other hand, social media influencers, and especially extremist groups, they need followers. So they benefit from this fear and panic. And for the upcoming years of 2025 and 26, all the outer planets are going to change signs. So we will be seeing, remarkable changes. But I think that it's good to remember what Franklin Roosevelt said, that there's nothing to fear except fear itself. We may consider that perhaps we are not quite as divided as we are led to believe, because most people simply want to live safe, peaceful, and happy lives. Many entities in extreme groups, they want us to live in fear, more in fear than in hope, because they benefit from it in some way. So the next couple of years will show which side wins, fear or hope. So Saturn or Jupiter. And as almost always, the truth is neither simple or easy. It is almost always the lesson of Jupiter and Saturn meaning it would be good to remember to hope for the best with strong optimistic spirits, to be in good optimistic spirits, but still be grounded and be prepared for challenging times also. So that's it for August of 2024. And my website is lunardakini.com, and any other information is in the show notes. Thank you for now.